you looking scrumptious. I want to just climb through this screen and bite your shoulder, girl.
Well, if you bite my shoulder, I guess I'll bite yours back because I see your shoulder out too.
No, my hands are mine. Good evening, everybody. Oh,
my name is Nakia Franklin.
And I'm Von Greta.
And welcome to this episode of The Real
and Raw Talk Show,
where there are no boundaries
and no judgments.
So, y'all, we are so excited tonight. You know, who would have thought that we had such a prime opportunity right in our backyards for our Black and brown youth to have access to be trained and developed to, wait for it, of all things, fly a plane, a helicopter, hell, maybe even a jet. Wow. Oh my God. Now, how many of you have ever thought about what it would be like to be the pilot of your very own aircraft, to transport people to and from their desired destinations, to be in control of a massive, massive piece of machinery that's, you know, pretty much as delicate as a butterfly, right? Well, I just want to be honest, not me. It ain't no way possible. And I can proudly announce that we have two amazing guests with us that has discovered their calling and has become models for the communities around the world. They have been on TV and they are local and at universities. They're doing the most, y'all. And y'all have got to find out about our guests. So I just want to introduce our first guest, just tell you a little bit about Miss Tahchiona Smith of Houston, Texas. She flew her first plane at age 13. She has received a scholarship from the Black Poets of America at age 17, attended Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, and graduated from where? Texas Southern University, TSU, y'all, where she acquired her degree in aviation management in 2019. Now, this is not where it ends, and it's not where it begins. And that was just a taste of Tahchiona's education and experiences. So for now, I'll leave you with this. She is the only female pilot instructor at the Raiders Tigers Flying Club. And she is only, how old? 24 years of age. I got me a mug. What about that? I had to go there.
Lucky. How did you get that mug?
I met
Captain
this
Roscoe. Yes. Roscoe Edward.
And was having a conversation with him. And, you know, he was just telling me about himself. And that's how you get to know people. You just talk to people and have conversations and treat people right. And I was like, so you are a Black pilot who instructs youth on how to fly planes? Like, you're doing it today, like right now. You are actively engaged in training up leaders in an area where there's a limited supply of a very limited supply of African American, Black and brown boys and girls, men and women that have access to fly these birds in the sky, because it's dominated by other races, needless to say. And they're in need of our black and brown youth to grow up and learn these things so they can become the majority in the sky. Come on now. So this gentleman, Captain Roscoe S. Edwards, he's a mentor, instructor, examiner, and founder. And they're located, it's the Raiders Tigers Flying Club. To flying is our goal. And they have private, commercial, instrument, all kinds of stuff, right? And so we're going to make sure that we leave this information out and share it to make sure that it's available to you all wherever you are. Maybe you want to bring your kids. Maybe you want to become an instructor yourself, or learn how to fly yourself. Reach out to them And I'm sure they will be able to provide you with as much information as possible, because we really want to expand this opportunity to all of the youth and everyone possible. So, sis, why don't you tell us about Mr. Shepard? Oh,
I do so much. I'm sorry. Usually this is okay, but it is neither here nor there. We have Captain Corey Shepard. I can clearly see, as educated and awesome as this gentleman is, we could totally have a good time at a party. Don't you just love that, when people can get somewhere in life and still be approachable, and just easy to get along with, instead of pretentious. I just love it. No wonder, they say what's on the head falls down to the skirt in the Bible. So when you got the head that's and I'm talking about Captain Roscoe Edwards, who is all about community involvement and the betterment of his people. And as he said, stepping aside so that the younger generation can come up. I mean, how humble and beautiful is that? Then, of course, the character of everybody he trains is just as awesome. Okay, so speaking of Captain Shepard, who is also a resident of Houston, Texas, he is a flight instructor and a pilot of the Raiders Tigers Flying Club. He is 41 years of age. He began flying at 16 and was also a student at Sterling High School. What's up with Sterling? All right. He has a love for teaching, flying, and mentoring youth, as he was blessed to be mentored by the first Black pilot he had ever seen and personally met as a youth. The sharing between Tahchiona and Corey will blow your minds to discover how they met, become pilots, and were both inspired to give hope as they followed their individual paths to join a small, and I need you to grab that, a small population of minority aerospace professionals. We're also going to have the absolute divine Miss Danielle Celisse, an exquisite songstress, who will be performing a song that she is going to introduce later on in the show. And you'll learn more about that and her piece during the show. Now, everybody, it's time to get real and raw. Say it again. So we want to hear from you, as you know. For those who continue to join us, thank you. But for our new audience members, you guys, we want you to go. It just takes a few seconds to go to www.streamyard.com/Facebook to grant StreamYard access to see your comments. So again, StreamYard.com/Facebook to let StreamYard see your comments, because our guests want to hear, and it gives you a chance to encourage them. So stick around and post questions and share, because you know what time it is. It's time to get into the no judgment zone.
You are entering the no judgment zone.
Wow, you know, I don't ever get bored of that. I just want you to know.
I'm not either, because I go back to a really wonderful day of great learning and great fun with my girl.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So this is lovely. Let's get into the show, shall we?
All right, Tahchiona, we are going to introduce this beautiful and amazing young lady and bring her straight onto the platform right now. Hey,
Hi.
welcome. So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, and then I'm going to bring Mr. Corey on, and I might have him just pop in a little bit sooner, even though I'm still asking you some questions. So sis, just stand by for me, and I'll let you know. So Tahchiona, how did you get exposed to planes, and what grew your passion to cause you to fall in love with flying?
So my passion grew as a little girl. My grandmother used to take us to the airport and watch us take off and land, watch the airplanes take off and land. And that airport was actually Hobby Airport. That's the airport in Houston, the south side of Houston. And that's actually where I grew up in the Raiders Tigers Flying Club. I'm at that airport instructing. So the airport that I seen as a little girl, watching airplanes take off and land, you know, getting inspired with aviation as a young child. I now have the opportunity to be teaching at the same airport.
Wow, that is so awesome and amazing. So, would you call your grandmother an influencer in your life that caused you to come full circle to wanting to make an impact in the lives of other youth as well, the way she was able to make an impact in yours?
Absolutely. I know she had a big impact with my aviation career. You know, just being the first person to introduce me to aviation. But when I first presented to her, like, hey, you know, I want to become a pilot, she was like, oh, no, you know, like, it's too dangerous, like, you know. And I pretty much just kind of snuck. You know, I went to Sterling, which is where I started actually flying. I got a scholarship through an organization called Black Pilots of America. And so I started flying there, and I kind of didn't tell her exactly what was going on. You know, I just told her, hey, you know, they're going to give us kind of exposure with aviation and planes and all this stuff, but she didn't know I was actually going to be in the airplanes. You know? So she definitely had a big impact on my, you know, aviation passion.
So, what has she said? Is she still with us?
Yes,
Everything
she's
okay?
still with us.
Because I don't want to be saying the wrong thing. I want to ask the wrong question. Got to ask it the right way. Okay. So, what does she say? What has she said to you today? Now that you have accomplished this massive goal of yours, what has she said to you in being able to live out your dream?
Well, the first thing she always tells me is, when you going to take me flying? When you going to take me flying? Tati, you've been promising you're going to take me flying since you got your license, you know, my private license. But I don't know. I'm just waiting for the perfect opportunity to take her. And I wanted to have a little bit more experience and exposure before I get her in an airplane. So I'm actually, you know, trying to surprise her this weekend with a flight for the very first time. But other than that, of course, you know, she's excited, and, you know, she had a lot of sacrifices that she made as well. You know, I come from a background where we really don't have, you know, money just set aside for me to be going into aviation. So she pretty much, if she had anything over, she would take $200 or $300, put that towards a flight lesson, because that's pretty much one flight lesson for 2 hours is like $300. And so she'll take that as much as she can, and her being able to see me make the sacrifices and the sacrifices that she has made as well, you know, it's just a pleasurable moment for both of us.
Wow, that is beautiful. That is so beautiful. You know, it's important to have someone that you can lean on, and then someone that supported you in your vision. And even with her nose, you know, in her heart, it was always a yes, you know.
Right.
So, what was one thing that made the hairs rise up and your skin get the goosebumps that made you say yes, that this is it? This is what I want to do. How did you know in that moment?
When I went up for the very first time in a small airplane, I went up in an airplane, a Cessna 172. It's like a 4-seater airplane. And the very first time, my experience was actually pretty crazy. So I went up with BPA, Black Pilots of America. It was a summer flight academy, and I got a scholarship to fly for free for 2 weeks, so about 10 hours of free flight time. And when I went up for the first time, I couldn't believe I was actually doing it, you know, and then just being able to see everything from a bird's eye view, that let me know then, you know, like, hey, this is really for me. And at the time, I really was a little nervous because, you know, it's kind of a whole different environment, aviation. And when you're used to being on those big 737s and all those big, you know, machines, and you're in this little compacted airplane, you know, it's a lot different. But you know, it was at that moment, you know, I said, yep, I'm sticking with it. This is exactly what I want to do.
Oh, wonderful. So have you ever had a moment where you were just afraid of, you know, anything happening, going wrong, or did you ever have that fear moment?
Well, I'm a big person. I feel like whatever you feel and think, that comes true. And so I don't even speak that kind of stuff or think about that kind of stuff, like, because I feel like that's the kind of energy that you surround yourself with when you put that out in the atmosphere. So I never be afraid when I'm up there. You know, I say my little prayers before every flight, and when I land, I say a little short little, you know, thank you God, I'm back on the ground. You know, because in aviation, when you commit to the takeoff, you commit to the landing. So if I, you know, take off, I have to do whatever I have to do to get back on the ground. So, but no, I don't be scared or nervous up there.
Oh, that is beautiful. Oh my God. See, y'all can do it. Y'all can do it. Okay, so bring Mr. Corey in, and I have a couple of more questions for you, but definitely bring Mr. Corey into the platform. Hey, Corey Shepard. He said.
Right.
Come up here.
Yeah.
Come on, you gotta get up in there. Don't be scared. Don't be scared.
Right? We got to keep that alive.
So Corey, we are talking to Tahchiona, and I'm bringing you in now. We're going to talk about a bit surrounding her education, and and because there are similarities between the two of you. Hey, David, between the two of you, I just want to, you know, go ahead and bring you in this section right here. So, Tahchiona, I did share a bit about your education in our opening, and what other schools and universities did you attend, and under what scholarships, if any?
So I went to Sterling High School, which is the same high school that Corey attended when he was younger. And then I went to Texas Southern, and so he graduated from Texas Southern University as well. So we have that in common. And then before I went to Texas Southern, I actually went to Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. So that's like the Harvard for aviation. And pretty much I went down there. I didn't have any money to fly. I barely even had enough money for school. You know, I was calling Granny like every, 2 weeks, like, hey, I need $600, on my bill to pay towards my tuition. I had scholarship down there as well. But so I received a scholarship at Embry-Riddle. I came back to Texas Southern. I called Corey and said, hey, I'm coming back. I can't afford to be out here. And so that's when he really stepped in and started mentoring me. And I wasn't able to get any finances for aviation at Texas Southern University. And I applied, and I wasn't able to get any. So then the accident happened.
But before you go there, we're going to bring that into the next segment. So I don't want you to get too far ahead of me.
Okay.
So, Corey, tell us about your experience. Okay, you went to Sterling High School as well, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
And then you went to Texas Southern University as well. So y'all have that in common. Tell me about your education and experience. Oh, yeah, she went to TSU also. We're not going to talk about my attempt to go to TSU, but these light-skinned girls don't necessarily have the opportunity to flow through there like y'all beautiful brown-skinned people and be, yeah. But anyway, that's a whole nother conversation. Sis, don't go there with me. Anyway, TSU, I'm with y'all. So beyond that, okay, so Corey, tell us about your educational experience and your background as well.
I guess my aviation education, it started at Sterling High School. That was my zone school. I'm from South Park, so that was the school I was zoned to. But I was always into sports and extracurricular activities. And to me, flying, a chance to fly in high school was like playing another sport. So I said, why not? So I enrolled in the program, and the school would contract the flying out to local flight schools. At the time, one of those schools was the Raiders Tigers Flying Club, which had been around for maybe a year or so. It was about 1997. And I met the owner and the founder, who was Roscoe, first black pilot I met, and started flight training with him. And he told me that I could make a living doing what he and I was doing, which was just taking off and landing. And I was hooked. And after Sterling, I found ways to. I went to TSU on an academic scholarship, and I was blessed enough to get a lot of scholarship and grant money with my grades, and a combination of grades and extracurricular activities. So I was able to get enough scholarship funding and combine that with the money I had from working 2 jobs the majority of the time I was in school. There wasn't any money left over in our house for me. I had 2 older brothers who were also in school. And,
oh, wow.
And, father was a mailman, my mother was a social worker. And those are 2 underpaid jobs. So, but anyway, I was able to nickel and dime my way through the rest of my pilot certificates and certifications and ratings, if we call them. And I graduated from Texas Southern in 2002. Mm-hmm. And actually went back to Sterling. I taught high school for a year in the aviation program. And then I started working for, after doing some flight instructing, building the rest of my hours, I started working for ExpressJet in 2004. Mm-hmm. That's kind of how I ended up to today. Just kept building my experience, got on with a major airline, and as they say, the rest is history.
Awesome. So what was that moment for you where, why was it such a big deal for you to see and have that experience and that exposure to that, your first black pilot? Why was that significant for you?
Because as the cliche goes, representation is everything. It's very important. And, I had no idea what, the concept of representation was, but subconsciously meeting Roscoe and talking to him, finding out that he was from Third Ward and basically telling me, if I can do it, I'm just a dude from the hood, then why not a guy from, a kid from South Park? And I was still just always amazed at just, what he was doing, in his adult life, because I'd never seen a black pilot before. Mm-hmm. So I never, even though I was enrolled in an aviation program, I still didn't envision myself as being a pilot.
Wow.
Even though I was fully enrolled in that program, because I'd never seen anyone look like me. Well, except Kareem Abdul-Jabbar on the movie Airplane. I know y'all remember that.
He's trying to take us back. Dating us.
You get extra points if you remember the character's name.
Oh no, I can't do that. Vaughn probably. You can't say.
His name was Roger Murdoch.
Wow. Okay.
He was the first officer on that plane. He had the fish.
I know she usually can catch me knowing because I'm a movie buff, but you got me on that one.
Oh wow.
You can't be a pilot and not watch that movie before at least once in your life.
Oh my God. Well, all right. So I see how that made a difference for you at that very moment, and it changed the course of your life. And now you desire to mentor other youth, and this is something that you actively do, and which brought you and Tahchiona together. So before we move forward with anything else, Tahchiona, I would like for you to tell us, how did the Raiders Tigers Flying Club name get chosen?
Oh, so the name got chosen because, like I said, I went to Sterling High School and I went to Texas Southern University. So those mascots, well, Sterling's mascot is a Raider, and Texas Southern mascot is a Tiger. And so pretty much, Captain Roscoe he reached back and grabbed a lot of Raiders and a lot of Tigers. And so that's pretty much how he came up with the Flying Club's name through both of those mascots.
Awesome. And did he also attend Sterling and TSU?
He didn't attend Sterling High School.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you so
I think he
much.
went to Yates, right, Corey?
Yeah, he went to Yates but he went to TSU.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
I just wanted to share that, have y'all share that, because I thought that was just so awesome and how significant it is, because he's giving back. He continues to reach back. He continues to give back. And that is the trend, and that is the same path that the two of you have taken on as well. So I am going to thank you so very much for sharing and being so authentic. And sis, I want to give it over to you so we can go into more of the conversation about Tahchiona and Corey, and the financial experiences that you had, and how that brought the two of you together that much greater in this partnership, to help you accomplish your goals, and the experience that you had that's almost stopped you from being able to fulfill out your vision.
You're not supposed to give the chasers. You're supposed to.
No, she was talking about it in the other segment. I called her because I didn't want her to bring out all of me. Girl, just gone.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a short break, and then we're going to come back and hear all of what Nakia just told you about. I mean, I don't know why she just told you the whole story. No, I'm just kidding. I'm messing with you, sis. Okay. No, but tonight we have someone very lovely and special that we're going to share with you. The songstress. It's time for that. That's what we're doing.
We're going to do that later. We're going to do that right now.
We're following the script. We're following the script.
Go ahead.
We're following the script. You wrote it for a purpose, baby. You put all that time into it, so let's just utilize it, okay? You always tell me, trust the script. Let's trust it.
I'm going to mute myself.
Yes. So, Danielle Celisse, Ms. Danielle Celisse. I've had the pleasure of acting with this very chocolate, beautiful, gorgeous woman. She is majorly talented on stage. I mean, I remember when we were first in the play together, and I heard her practicing, and I was like, what? So she's beautiful, she's talented, and she's awesome. And she's going to introduce her. She's going to introduce her creation for you. I think it's very authentic the way she is going to perform for us tonight, and I really believe that you'll like it because it shows off her beautiful vocal ability. So I give you none other than Miss Danielle Celisse.
Hello, Real and Raw family. My name is Miss Danielle Celisse. I'm a singer, songwriter, actress here in Houston, and you're about to see a clip of me singing a little bit of Mickey Howard's Ain't Nobody Like You. We all know the emotion behind the song, so I do hope that you feel it and you can run with it. If you enjoy what you hear, and I do hope you enjoy it, make sure you follow me on all social media. On Instagram at Miss_DANIELLE Celisse, CELISSE, the number 2, the letter U. You can also follow me on Facebook at Danielle Celisse. Again, thank you so much. I hope you enjoy and have an amazing day. There are times when I'm feeling good now, baby. There are times when I know I should, oh darling. There are ones that I wanna do, but ain't nobody like you. nobody, baby, no. I've been watching you for so long, baby, and my heart's feeling so strong, oh darling, and I hope you feel it too, 'cause ain't nobody like you, nobody, baby, no. I've been up and I've been down, I've had my feet swept off the ground by somebody who just picked me up and threw me away. Oh yes, yes you did now. I've been rich and I've been poor, I've had boys in and out my door, but I know you're the only one, you are the only one for me. There are ones that I wanna do, but ain't nobody like you.
Hey.
I'm like, hold on, that was nice. You gave us a straight teaser. Okay. So
You sexy, cool, talented voice ripping through. She said, I don't need no music. I'm gonna just let y'all have it.
okay, look, Mrs. Danielle Celisse, thank you so much for an exquisite performance. Y'all better reach out to her and find out what's really going on. Check her out, go to her shows. Look at the bottom of your screen, reach out to her and let her know that y'all saw her right here. And that was fire. Sis,
Very much fun. Thank you, Love Bucket. Now that we got that straight, ain't God good for breaks?
Yes,
Look at that. Let's get to it. A lot of people don't know that we have the opportunity to meet with our guests before they come on the show, and that's something that we really, really value. It gives us a chance to get to know them. So, and then my beautiful sis goes and writes this awesome script. You guys, I want to get into, especially with you, Tahchiona, first. I want to really get into the beauty of your story and how you became a pilot. We know that you are one, and that's wonderful. We're proud of you. And we heard earlier that it's really expensive, right? And Nakia kind of said, hold on, wait. Let's get into that in a second. So now that second is here. I would like you to share with us the moment you thought your journey as a pilot was over, because that has everything to do with the expenses us about you having a near-death experience, right? While you were trying to pursue this dream. Can you tell us about that?
Oh, absolutely. So I was actually on my way to school. I was at Texas Southern University at the time. And it was a Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. I was in a vehicle with this guy, and I was on the way getting dropped off at school. And we were on Alameda Genoa, and a drunk driver like hit us head on. And pretty much, you know, it was scary. You know, like immediately I thought I was blind because I was bleeding like so much. And I just remember like wiping the blood off, like, no, you know, I want to be a pilot. I can't be a pilot if I can't see, you know. And so pretty much everybody was just telling me like, you need to sit down, like you need to stop walking around, you know, sit down and just wait for the ambulance to get there. So
you were walking around?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was trying to see my face. Nobody would let me get a hold to no mirrors. Like I was like, no, okay. I need to see my face. And you know, when you ask them like, hey, like, is it bad? And they say, no, it's not that bad, but we don't want you to look at it. You know it's bad. You know
it's bad. Right.
I'm like, y'all gonna let me see my face. But so the ambulance got there and they rushed me to ICU. And it was like 10 doctors. Well, of course, it was probably like a doctor in there with all of the assistants and all of that stuff. And I just remember like, dang, it must really be bad, because I had not ever been in ICU before, or let alone, you know, been in an accident that was, you know, that close to near life death. And I pretty much was like, oh my gosh, like, what is going on with me? You know, I'm tapping myself. And so I pretty much got surgery that day. They did the first surgery on my face, and it was just pretty much just close everything up. And the surgeon at the time, he was telling me like, hey, like it's gonna be a part right here that's gonna fall off, and it pretty much be like a dent right there. We might have to move some skin around, all this stuff. And I was like, okay, at this point, I still haven't seen my face yet. My grandparents, my parents came in there, they start crying, and it's making me cry. I hadn't even cried at that point yet. I was being strong. So my mama walked in, she just started crying. And but I just stayed strong, and I got the first surgery, and my family was very supportive. Corey came by, which is my mentor. Captain Roscoe came by. All of my professors, the classmates, like I had so many balloons, bears, cards, like shirts, everything. And, yeah, and then I remember Corey called me one day. He was like, "Hey, what you doing?" I was like, "Nothing." He was like, "Put some clothes on. We're gonna, jump in the airplane. I don't care what the surgeon say," because at this point I still wasn't cleared to get in the airplane and start flying again. And so Corey's like, "You don't have to fly. I just want you to have a good time, because he knew that was something that I was worried about, my whole career, still being in jeopardy. And I pretty much, switched majors at the time. I switched to aviation management because not only was I dealing with not getting a clearance for my surgeon yet for plastic surgery, because I had to go in and get plastic surgery. So at this point, I'm still like, okay, I'm wasting time. So I know I don't have money to become a pilot, and I know I haven't been flying consistently to keep up with the rest of my classmates. So, I'm just pretty much going to change my major to aviation management so I can graduate on time. And so I ended up changing my degree to aviation management. And it was my last semester in college. It was in August, early August. My lawyer called me, and and not to mention it's hard. It was hard for me because I'm having to walk around TSU, with the bandage on at first, right? But the bandage came off, and so when the bandage came off, I still have a lot of dry blood there just healing. I had to just let it heal, and so I'm walking around like that. I'm dealing with that. I'm dealing with not being able to know if I'm going to be able to become a pilot. I don't even know why I'm still even attending college at this point. I'm just pretty much being pushed by, I know I can't not have a 4-year degree.
So you were pretty discouraged then at this point?
Oh, absolutely. Discouraged.
Did you think you were gonna get to graduate?
Oh, I knew if nothing else I was gonna graduate.
All right.
I wasn't motivated to, and I didn't enjoy that path, because it was kind of like I'm going to college for something I really don't want to do. I'm having to sell just so I can say, okay, I got a 4-year degree. Because at this point, I got student loans. I'm just way into deep to just bag out.
Okay.
So my lawyer called me one day. She was like, "Hey, Tahchiona, what you doing?" I said, "Nothing much. At school, whatever." She said, "Well, can you be here before 2:00?" And I said, "Well, I kind of got it." She said, "Okay." So I called her back. I'm like, "Yeah, I can be there. So I showed up to the office, and with car accidents, I think it's like 30,000 per vehicle or 70,000, something like that, 60,000. And it was me and the guy at the time. So immediately 30,000 went to him, and I only had 30,000 that could possibly be my max. And then you got hospital bills, all of that stuff you gotta pay out, and then you got your lawyer fee, which is 33.33%. So she pretty much called me. She said, "Hey, I've been trying to hold on to this surprise. I want to hand you this check. You make sure that you do something amazing with this." So she still hadn't told me. I looked down at the check, and the Geico, which is the insurance company, wrote $100,000 check with $1. 100,000 with $1. So I was like, "Dang."
So you telling me that the very thing that looked like it thwarted your plans was the very thing that propelled you into your dreams, goals, and visions?
Absolutely.
Won't he do it?
Every time. So You know, and that's another thing too. You know, I'm a firm believer in God. I believe that everything happens for a reason, and that's pretty much what I did. I stayed strong and committed to Him throughout that entire process. I graduated, got the check. When I got the check, I didn't tell my
Mm-hmm.
mama, I didn't tell my granny, because I know how I am. Like, if my granny called me or my mama called me or any of my relatives called me, my niece and nephew, they say, hey, you know, I need this. I'm going to try my best to make it happen. You
Right.
know, so I knew I had to make that sacrifice for myself. So
So what did
Corey
you do
was
with the check?
I called Corey and I said, hey, Corey, where you at? And he always is on the road, you know, because he's a check airman for United. So I'm like, Corey, where are you? He's like, oh, I'm in Houston, just crawling out of bed, you know, whatever. So I'm like, Corey, I got to come over there. I got to come over there right now. I got to come over there. So I ended up pulling up to his house and I handed him the check. And he was like, oh, we got some money. My baby.
Uh-oh.
The connection kind of went out a
That's
little
okay.
bit.
We got you back.
You got me?
We
Okay.
got you.
So he pretty much, you know, told me like, hey, you know, my baby gonna be a pilot. We're gonna put this money up. And I had other individuals, you know, at this time I had an internship and I had people around me. You need to invest in cryptocurrency, you know, you need to invest in real estate. And I'm thinking, no, I'm investing myself because I'm going to
Amen.
invest in a career that's going to bring in well over 6 figures a year. And I can take that money and invest in real estate and do all that stuff when the time is right. You know, so
Speaking
I
of
pretty much,
Tahchiona,
uh-huh.
excuse me for interrupting you, but when you said the career, so at this time you were a student pilot then? You had a student pilot's license.
I was
And
a
so
student.
now it's time to go higher into being a commercial pilot, right?
Right, right.
So now, how did that happen?
So at this point, I was a student pilot and I pretty much was going to be starting from scratch again. Like during the accident, I was actually really close to getting my license. Corey was doing all of my flight training with me, and then the accident happened, so I had to pretty much start all over. So I went to Luke Weathers. Once I handed Corey the check, and I said, "Hey, hold on to this," because at this point, I still have a couple more months to get done with college.
Okay.
And I wanted to go all out with college. You know, I wanted nice things. I wanted a new car. You know, I wanted so much stuff. I wanted to pledge. I actually wanted to pledge my senior year at Texas Southern, but I took the sacrifice and said I need every single penny that I have to go towards my training because training, you know, it you got to have money to make money, you know. And so training
Absolutely.
is a 6-figure investment, but you'll be making well over 6 figures every year as a pilot. So I pretty much, you know, saved every dime. Corey and I look for flight schools, and so we have another flight school that's kind of like this one. It's a lot. It's an organization of Black aerospace professionals. They have a flight school in Olive Branch, Mississippi, called Luke Weathers Flight Academy. So Corey made some calls. He said, "Hey, I have 2 mentees. They need to start some training. You know, let's send them down there." So on February 15th, because I graduated December of 2019, on February
Okay.
15th, the day after Valentine's Day, no, Valentine's Day, I went down there in 2020. COVID happened. So that's
Okay.
when COVID started. So they actually suspended flying. Here's another hurdle that I have to cross over. Suspended flying, but by the grace of God, the director told me, because you have done so much since you've been here, we're going to open a school just for you. And so
Oh,
I was able
wow.
to go up there in the school by myself, train twice a day. I was able to become a student pilot to a commercial pilot within 6 months. And, you
You
know,
went from student pilot to commercial pilot in just 6 months.
yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Amazing.
So,
Thank you so much for sharing that with me. And you are giving a lot of credit to Corey. And I
oh,
just got
yeah.
to say, I'm really, my heart is overwhelmed because I know he's so humble. He's not going to let you do it, but she's doing it, sir. You got to receive it on tonight, sir. Yeah. You say you know what it is, yeah. But Corey, you know, when you hear this from her, when you hear how much you have paid it forward. You are the epitome of paying it forward from what Captain Roscoe Edwards did for you. You sewed that right into this young woman, and I know that you love to teach. Tell us about why you have this heart to pour into her life and teach with the Raiders Tigers Flying Club?
Well, there's several reasons why. You mentioned paying it forward, and so I'll start there. Someone did it for me. At a time when Tahchiona talks about money. At a time when my money was low, Roscoe was telling me to just pay for the gas that the airplane was using. And flying is expensive. Even to operate a plane, to operate a flight school is expensive. And there was Roscoe using his own money. So I have to give thanks to God for sending him my way, and also thank his family for allowing him to give his time and his finances to the community. I'm not an Edwards, I'm a Shepard. So, his sons and wife could have easily been looking at me sideways, and they didn't. They embraced us. Those of us who Roscoe was helping out. So it started with that, and of course paying it forward, which I've always done. I kind of learned that giving back stuff in the church. And when I met Tahchiona, I saw out of all the students I'd worked with, when it came to the amount of talent and potential, and putting that side by side with the amount of challenges, she had the greatest ratio of that. So between that and just on a bigger scale, there's a certain way I feel about Black people, and that's kind of why I try to give back so much. I don't have the oratory skills of a Malcolm X or.
When you say a certain kind of way you feel about Black people, what do you mean?
Yeah, I'm getting to that. I love my people, and the way I feel like we're struggling in a lot of areas, and there are a lot of things in the system that are against us, and so culture, I feel, has been going in the wrong direction for years. So if you want to fix a culture, you can't do that without the most important people in the culture is the woman. So I literally started targeting young Black women who were interested in flying. Not that I was turning down the young men, but I took special interest in the young Black women because my thinking was, if I can lift them up, then they would raise the standard for the culture, and they would lift everybody up. The other young women, young men, everybody. People follow women more than folks think, even though they get excluded from a lot of leadership opportunities.
It's real talk.
Lift them up, and they can do a lot of leading, by example, and they can really raise the standard. So that was the idea. So meeting Tahchiona, I saw someone with a lot of talent, dealing with some challenges that I thought were unfair, and I looked at my coworkers. I was flying with, and they would tell you, my dad was a pilot, or uncle, or just all kind of things that afforded them privileges. And I don't blame them for their privilege, because no one can help what situation you're born into. But I figured maybe I can provide a little privilege for someone. So if I had to pay for this or provide that, help out with this network or be an influence in this area, then why not? And the only thing I've ever asked for Tahchiona is that she give me maximum effort every time and not give up. And if she would do that, like I told her and told her grandmother and told her father, then I'll be here. I'll be part of that village. I'll be helping out. So
that's so wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. Tahchiona, when you hear him speak about his heart that way, what does that make you feel like, to know that clearly you gave him the effort he asked for? Yeah, that's obvious. You know what I mean?
Right.
This special relationship, this special bond you have. What do you feel when you hear him speaking about his desire to sow this seed into your life?
I feel special and I feel lucky because mentorship is really hard. You know, I'm mentoring some young ladies and, you know, guys, and then just seeing Corey be able to do it and know that, you know, sometimes I show up to the airplane and I just be not prepared at all, you know, and him sticking by me, you know, you just don't get that every day. So I'm very blessed, to say the least.
Well, thank you guys so much for being so open and honest. We're getting ready to turn a curve, and this hour is almost over, but I have something special for you. And for the audience, I am a visual learner. Seeing is totally believing. And when we come back from this quick little clip, it'll be back over to you, my gorgeous sis. Okay? Check this out, everybody. Oh my God, I got my own self teary eyed.
That was so.
I love to see dreams come true.
Oh my gosh.
That was nice.
That was awesome.
Don't you talk about me, girl.
All the time. I thought I was bad, but you cry all of the time.
But you know, hearing from Tahchiona, like we were at Texas Southern at the same time, you know, and I would see call him my uncle. I would see Uncle Roscoe driving up while walking into the music building, and every now and again he would see me, and it just, you know, just having those little small moments just made me feel like pressing through, you know. And to hear her tell us all that the very thing that seemed to have stopped her was the thing that catapulted her into the finish line. You know, that is, it makes me remember the things that I've been through, and she's much younger than me, and I just love your resilience. And I'm so grateful to Corey for being so selfless. And I know that you're going to pass that down. I hope y'all are looking. Y'all know I have a lot of heart toward Black history and the empowerment of our people. Here's my serious moment. This is what we should always look like. This right here. If you haven't seen the togetherness, we don't have it no more. That's a lie. You're looking at it. Over you, Nakia. I'm gonna stop because you know I'm gonna climb up on my high horse and I'm not coming down. I'm gonna start preaching this.
I know. That was her final thoughts, y'all. That was her final thoughts. So she don't get to say nothing else until the show after party.
No, I can just say good night. And if I don't have to say nothing else,
if you got knowledge to spread it to the people while they listening, you know.
Yeah, I busted afterwards because we only have a few minutes left and we need to hear from you all. That's what she's saying. So
y'all
real quick. Yeah, now I really, okay. But I have that awesomeness on both sides of my family, and I'm so happy to say it. You know, but just because I don't have nothing else to say, I do want to say, you all, when we get through with this show, you refresh your screens because the after the show after party will be happening at 10:15, and we'll be joined by the Slappy Payne, the comedian, and we'll share more of our thoughts, and I'll bust down Captain Shepard, all of my stuff then.
Yeah, because I got to have time for the guests, because if not, then it's like all over. I can just hang it up. So this is the segment where we do the final thoughts, and I ask the guests to share what you would like an individual or individuals to know about, whether it's you or what your goal and your missions are, okay, surrounding the flight school and where it is that you see all of this going forward. So I would like for you to share where the flight school is located, how people can get in contact with you to enroll or get more information. I want to start there. Corey?
I'll start our location. Our Raiders Tigers Flying Club is located at 8402 Nelms Street. That's at Hobby Airport on the Signature Flight Services property. So thankful to Signature for allowing us to have space to operate there. Our Instagram page is at Raiders Tigers Flying Club. And we also have a website. It's Raiders Tigers Flying Club. Is it org?
I think it's .com.
It's .com. Sorry. .com. So our website and an IG page. We try to monitor. We do monitor our IG page.
Org.
Say it again. It's org.
Mm-hmm.
It is .org. Okay, so Raiders Tigers Flying Club.org.
Okay.
And we do monitor the IG page quite a bit. So you can message us, any contact information, any inquiries. We'll get back with you as soon as we can. We also have an email address, Raiders Tigers Flying Club, all one word, at gmail.com.
Okay. And is there a phone number also?
Say it again.
Is there a phone number as well?
Yes. Let me pull up because I don't know it by heart.
Okay.
because who knows phone numbers by heart outside of their own personal? Hang on.
And Tahchiona, while he's doing that, can you leave us? Tahchiona.
Don't take me long. It's 346-406-4952. That's our office number.
Awesome. Thank you. And Tahchiona, can you leave us with advice on keeping the faith, never giving up, and pushing through to achieve what may feel impossible?
You have to write the vision and, make it plain. Just, be committed to whatever it is that you want to be in life. And then just know that God's not going to place you in a spot, and I don't know everybody's spiritual backgrounds, but I'm a firm believer in God. That's how I was able to move forward through all of the challenges and obstacles that I've had to face. But, it's kind of like a mountain. You climb the mountain, it's going to be challenging. The air is going to be thin, but the view is always beautiful once you get to the top. So that's what I live by. You're going to go through some challenges in life, but you have to be motivated. You have to make those sacrifices, and understand, there will be a pleasure in the fruit.
Awesome. Thank you so very much. Okay, so Corey, what would you like for our audience to be left with surrounding the need for Black and brown skinned youth today? A call to action and achievement.
To those who are in a position, where you've had any kind of success, please reach back into these communities. There are gems in these communities. We just need to find them and dust them off. And our young people really need us. Our culture needs us. And, no one person can save everybody, but if you can just help one or two and be an influence, show up in these schools, be that representation, let them see that Black people are doing great things, and you don't have to be on TV to do it. If Black people are educated, that they can come from the hood and they can be successful, they can be articulate, they can be knowledgeable, and they can be professional, and they can still be real and approachable and down to earth at the same time. And they need to see that so that they can have an image to change their perspective. So I would challenge, those of us who are in positions like myself to try to do that. I know that one-on-one mentoring isn't for everybody, and that's okay, but you can be visible. You can show up and be seen, and you can just at least tell your story. You never know what that can do for people. And keep fighting for us, because if we don't, no one else will.
Thank you so very much. So with that being said, I'm going to not let my sister speak. I'm sorry. Y'all just don't get to happen all the time. So
You'll get it later on.
So I just want everyone, these are my final thoughts. Right here, you have an opportunity to connect with two human beings, two individuals, young adults, and Corey, you still consider it a young adult because it's closer to our age. But you want to give back and you really want to make a difference in the lives of people that look like you, regardless of what your race is, your sex, your nationality, your choices. You always want to give back. Giving back does not have limits. It does not have barriers. It does not have reasons. It's simply just doing what's right. Simply doing what you would have wanted somebody to do for you if nobody ever did it. Doing for someone else what somebody else did for you if you had that opportunity to have that blessing in your space. I love what Tahchiona says. You got to write it down and make it plain. She went through challenges and she went through some major experiences that could have anyone. That somebody else could have went through that same exact thing and would have given up on the first experience, given up on the second experience. But because she had enough fight in her, she had enough faith in her, and she had enough love, compassion, passion, and desire to accomplish the thing that she wanted to accomplish the most. She did not give up. And it's so easy for us, even myself included, to want to quit, to want to give up, to want to stop, to want to let it go. But even that piece of advice I take from myself, from a young 24-year-old African-American pilot, not just any pilot, but a commercial pilot who accomplished her goals in 6 months.
And a flight instructor.
And a flight
instructor, yes.
Go ahead. And a flight instructor.
Certificated by the FAA.
Okay.
Yes.
Putting it all out there.
He said he the real deal, sis. He said he the real deal.
Both of them are the real deal. You have to have.
I'm talking about her.
He's serious.
Yeah, he's trying to learn how to do the finger thing too.
The other way, because
that thing.
Yeah.
But see, I just wanted her to get her flowers, even while she's young, because she's out there teaching.
Yeah.
She got lives in her hands and she's handling it like a pro. So.
And she is a pro. And we contribute that to you and Mr. Roscoe as well. And thank you so very much. Please join us at the After the Show after party and reach out to the Raiders Tigers Flying Club because they have something just for you. Keep leading and keep building this up.
Wait, sis, and I'm so sorry. Please don't hurt me. I'm piggybacking off of what you said. If you don't have a pilot, you can still reach out to them and sew into their organization so that they can continue to do what they're doing at the maximum level they're doing it. Just don't think it's not for you because this is not your thing.
Create a scholarship, donate to them, sow a seed, 5 of them, a couple billion, okay? Put somebody else in this that's trying to get there because this is a 6-figure opportunity that it takes 6 figures to just get there, but they can work it out and they can help you get there so they can make more than 6 figures. And I'm not just talking about them. I'm talking about those that you're sowing the seeds into. So with that being said, I'm Nakia Franklin. Over there is Von Greta.
I'm Von Greta. Can I say my name on my own damn talk show?
You've been saying a lot. So stop talking so
I'm Von Greta.
10 o'clock. So we can get to the after show after party.
And I'm Von Greta. And I'm Von Greta.
We are the hosts of the Real
and Raw Talk Show.
But there are no boundaries.
And no judgments.
Bye, y'all.
Thank you for joining us on another episode of The Real and Raw Talk Show with Nakia Franklin and Von Greta. Remember to like and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel today. A special thanks to our guests, sponsors, and audience members. We are grateful for your support of our programming. If you would like to be a guest or sponsor of one of our shows, please email us at info.realrawtalkshow@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you. This has been a Wisdom Entertainment production in association with Social Integration. The views and opinions expressed on the show do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the Real and Raw Talk Show with Nakia Franklin and Von Greta. Any content provided are opinions and do not intend to malign any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, individual, or anyone or anything. Stay connected and join us for our next conversation where there are no boundaries and no judgments.